fellow citizens. At noon today, I sent a message to the Congress about the situation in Korea. We have sent land, sea, and air forces to assist in these operations. We have done this because we know that what is at stake here is nothing less than our national security and the peace of the world.
Claire Feller Minie. I was in the Marine Corps during the Korean conflict. Sergeant, 1950 to 1952 on active duty as a reserve.
Claire is an active duty reservist, a female active duty reservist in the Korean conflict. I would assume that makes you fairly unique?
Yes, sir, it does. There weren't too many of us who went from the reserves into onto active duty. The Marine Corps just had a special little something, and the reserve happened to open, and I was available, and so were they, so it worked out real well. It was as close as we could get to the male reservist time. We did have meetings once a week in the evening at that time. Now I think they have it over a week and a month. But when we'd had the drill, we had the classes, and we learned to salute. Learned not to fall over each other when we marched. And once in June, when the men went off to camp, they opened the reserve buildings for us, and we reported every day for 2 weeks for active duty for training. And at the end of that, we were supposed to have had all of the boot camp that we would get. In fact, it was all the boot camp we would get. In July, when the Korean War started, everybody, well, we were Marines. There were waves, there were WACs, there were WAFs, but there were women Marines. And so when they were put on standby, we were put on standby. It shocked a lot of us. But a lot of us really wanted to serve, so we did our duty. Instead of the train coming to the reserve center, the women went to the Union Station, and there was a separate Pullman car waiting for us. The colonel in charge of reservists was there to see us off. Our parents could come, and we were locked in a Pullman car.
You were locked in a Pullman car?
We were locked in a Pullman car. It had 24 berths. There were 23 of us who were eligible to serve. And we would march through the other cars to the diner and back, but and we were put behind the baggage car so that the door could be locked and no one came through our car. It was, I think, not so much for our protection or for the protection of everyone else, but to keep us as a unit. We left on Friday night and got into San Francisco, actually Oakland, on Monday morning. They had to scramble to get the women enough uniforms so that we could each have a uniform to arrive in San Francisco. We left St. Louis in our summer uniforms. We had to pack our winter uniforms and our night clothes and our dungarees, as they used to call them, for on the train, and no civilian clothes, because they did not know at the time what we were going to face. All they could tell us was take as much money as you can. We don't know when you're going to get paid. By the time you get there, we'll know what to do with you. So they put us in a hotel and then had us find our own quarters, and paid us subs. So it was almost like a civilian job, except we knew different. The Marines protected us. We were their sisters. And the other services, they knew better than to overstep their art, so it seemed. And the civilians were kind of mixed. They weren't all nice, but they weren't outwardly nasty to us. They might try to ignore us or whatever, but mostly it was positive, especially in San Francisco.
What would you like the public to know about honoring veterans?
I want them to be remembered. I want them to be respected. I want them to get, especially the ones who need the help, I want them to get the help they need to fit back into, either go back into service if that's what they were going to do, or to fit in to the civilian life.